Welcome back to Rappahannock Issues. I'm Tom Cohen, dealing now again with economic development here in Stafford. We're here at the Quantico Corporate Center and the Stafford Technology Center with Tim Baruti, who is the Deputy Administrator in Stafford County. So let's sort of look at retail. A lot of people will talk at retail, and there's a big question of how retail is doing and what's going to happen in the future with retail.
Well, I don't necessarily have a crystal ball, but I can tell you that Stafford County has been very focused, really since 2012, when our board said to get more focused on retail. Not necessarily because of the high-paying jobs it brings, of course, that's not the case, but we do like the investment, and we certainly believe that retail is associated with quality of life. To have our folks with, again, jobs and shopping opportunities, play opportunities in county has been a long goal. So, again, we've been very focused. What does that mean? We've been at the International Shopping Center Conference on a regular basis, really 3, sometimes 4 times a year, at National Harbor, in Richmond, Hampton Roads, and even New York City. That's important because you build relationships when you talk to folks face to face. So that's been really very successful for our department in building, again, relationships with folks who make decisions about retail investment. I would suggest that in part that effort has led to the Sonic, Panera, Bojangles is looking at Stafford County, Freddy's, Chipotle, names that folks know and desire. And again, now they're in Stafford County. I could go on with a longer list, but the fact is we've been very focused on retail, national retailers and restaurants, and we've had some good success. But again, we've got a lot more work to do on that matter.
And you mentioned a data center and how that's expanding.
Well, our data center efforts are expanding, I would say. We have spent a lot of time in working to build an inventory of data center properties that meet data center credentials. So we have 7 on our website that we tout that are data center ready, we believe. But most importantly, we have the Dominion certified data center site right here at Quantico Corporate Center, in fact, right behind this building. That certification means that site is ready by just about every measure a data center a builder would consider. So we've got water and sewer and electricity and a pad-ready site, again, for data center investment. Virginia's done a great job, specifically Loudoun and even Prince William, in attracting data centers, and they bring billions of dollars worth of revenue to the Commonwealth of Virginia. We'd like a piece of that, not necessarily compete with our folks to the north, but our friends to the north, but we think we can provide a broader offering for Virginia, and so again, we're in that game. And we hope in the next couple of years we have data center investment that we can be proud of as well.
Now, for anybody who's not really familiar, what type of business are you talking about by data center ready?
Data centers are simply big warehouses, essentially, and they can be 100,000, 200,000 square feet under roof with significant IT infrastructure embedded in them. Upwards of $200 to $300 million worth of technology can be in any given data center. That's taxable, obviously, assets for Stafford County. They don't come with big jobs, but they, again, have a big revenue tail to them. So we are absolutely working to attract data centers. We think we're a logical investment opportunity for data center build-out.
And sort of, I mean, that ties into the whole, we're near D.C., the 95 corridor, all that of what you were speaking about. Then today's Freelance Star mentioned a regional economic center. Would you like to sort of explain or touch on that?
Well, we've been delighted with the University of Mary Washington's leadership on economic development. President Rick Hurley has done an amazing job over the past 5 years pulling pieces together. He has worked with the Fredericksburg Regional Alliance, our regional economic development entity, again, pulling them together sort of under his wing so that we can collaborate on economic development matters more effectively. I think it's a good thing, and I'm delighted for the formation of the research center. We have historically gone outside of the region for those kinds of products. We've either gone to Richmond or into Northern Virginia for that kind of service. So it's going to be very nice to have that resource closer to home.
And what type of research really would they be producing?
Anything from significant ROI calculations on an investment potential to our annual report that we have crafted for the EDA on an annual basis for a decade or so, to commuter study analysis, Data-driven exercises are very important and will increasingly be so moving forward, especially in economic development. So the more data we have, the more stronger we can make a case for infrastructure investment in a certain portion of Stafford County, for example. So again, data is important. These folks can help us create data that makes sense.
Now, we've seen in other communities that are our neighbors and our friends an effort to do certain programs to entice people or entities to come to them. And Stafford has a sort of a different slant on how to work with that and try to use government and taxes and whatnot to bring people in. So did you want to sort of touch on that whole issue?
Sure. I would say that, as I say to many developers, our biggest incentive is the fact the board has proactively worked to keep taxes affordable. And as I outlined earlier, they've eliminated many business taxes. So that in and of itself is an incentive, we like to think. But beyond that, we have begun to get more aggressive about incentives for the businesses that we desire. The most recent example is the Quiet Town Center. And the county worked very hard over many years to see something come to life at a Quiet Town Center. We worked with the previous owner and now are working diligently with the current owner. We did offer, the county did, the Board of Supervisors did authorize a multi-million-dollar tax increment financing scenario that finally got Mosaic to close on a Quiet Town Center and commit to a $40 million project that will produce $56 million in revenue over the next 30 years. 160,000 square feet of new retail is coming our way as a result of all that work.
And then are there other areas that are to the people in the southern end of the county or that you're sort of targeting as well? We know that Boswell up here has this center. Sure. Quia has its center. We know there's a lot on 610. But just so that other people in Stafford know what else is being thought of.
Sure. We're working with several investors, developers on the 17 corridor in what we call Southern Gateway, the redevelopment area of Southern Gateway. In fact, we just had a group out of Florida come up with us last week. We spent several days with them on property they own right on 17. I won't name the property, but it's almost 30 acres in total, again, right on 17. We're working with them to create what would be a mixed-use opportunity there as well. So retail, maybe even big box, and maybe some associated residential component to it. So there's a lot happening on the 17 corridor. It does seem to be a hot button for retailers. Again, I named a couple of them. Starbucks, Sonic, Chipotle, Bojangles are all targeting the Route 17 corridor for obvious reasons. There's significant traffic and a growing population to serve.
And then I guess everybody sort of touches on this now. We're relooking at the comp plan. What is it? How does the comp plan, the comprehensive plan that the county does for development, how does that play into what your all agencies are trying to do?
Well, obviously the comp plan guides the county's land use policy, and it's important because it really outlines what is available to the commercial developer. As far as the urban services area, that is a well-defined area that has water and sewer availability. So it's important that, in my opinion, that expand over time to allow for opportunity, not just when a prospect comes, I would say, but proactively so that there is more opportunity. Folks like to have options, so I'd like to be able to present them with options of opportunity within the urban services area, not just have them seek a comp plan amendment and a rezoning of a piece of property that might meet their needs. That's okay, that can work, and it has worked, but again, I would rather have a slightly expanded urban services area so that we as a county, as a department of economic development can present options to the development community.
And you mentioned diversifying and you didn't have a crystal ball, but I mean, even office space is changing. Instead of it being the traditional offices now, because of everything being able to be on clouds and on the internet, a lot of offices are just going where they just need conference rooms and work otherwise. So how do you, and I know you don't have a crystal ball, but how does your office try to see what's happening in the future in retail and in offices?
Well, we stay connected with what others are doing. Obviously try to stay abreast of best practices in economic development and stay connected with folks in Richmond and elsewhere. It's, again, no easy task. Lots of folks are saying that retail is evolving quickly, and some are saying or predicting bricks and mortars may fall off a bit as far as new opportunities. I wouldn't say that I'm seeing that in Stafford County. Office folks are suggesting that the traditional office business park is falling out of favor. I would say there's probably some merit to that, and that's why we've been very focused on mixed use opportunities. We have some zoning now today in Stafford County that allows for that. We're seeing some of that at a quiet town center and with new submissions of commercial build-out on 610. We think it could be the wave of the future. Mixed use seems to make sense by most planning experts as well as economic development experts. So pulling those two worlds together is going to be important moving forward, I would say.
And sort of pulling two worlds together,